What's up, YouTube? It's Big Fish, and we got another reaction video. Today we're going to be going over Nancy Mace versus Jasmine Crockett, and this is about transgender man being able to go into women's bathroom. I wholeheartedly disagree that they should be able to go to the bathroom with women. That is crazy. They should have their own separate bathroom, or they should be able to go in with men, because we're not trying to hit that. And also, I believe as a kid, the legal age for hormones, if you want to transition, should be 18. 17 and below, no, sir. No. Once you become an adult, technically you're not an adult at 18. I'll say 21, but 25 is when the frontal lobe actually develops. And also, most kids are still in the house at 18 as well. So it's a toss-up, but that's what I think, honestly. Let's continue with the video.
Is this 5? Any further members seek recognition?
Mr. Chair,
Chair, recognize Ms. Crockett.
I have an amendment at the desk.
So there's 5. Will the clerk, everyone has the amendment, everyone has the Crockett amendment?
There are 3 women in the liberal scene at the current moment. I don't hate people. I strongly dislike them, or I dislike them. But these 3 insufferable women, Joy Reid, Jasmine Crockett, and AOC, they're insufferable. I would say Jasmine Crockett, AOC, they're attractive, yes, but they're insufferable.
Amendment on the desk. Will the clerk please report the amendment?
An amendment to the rules of the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform for the 119th Congress is offered by Ms. Crockett of Texas.
Without objection, the amendment is considered as read. I reserve a point of order. The gentlewoman is recognized for 5 minutes to explain her amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. During the 118th Congress, Oversight Republicans disbanded one of the most important subcommittees in Congress, the Subcommittee on Civil Rights and Civil Liberties. And now, in the 119th Congress, the chairman and House Republicans have decided to prioritize the demands of the real president, Elon Musk, and his billionaire friends over the needs of...
They're just trying to create a divide against Republicans with Elon Musk and Donald Trump calling Musk president. We don't care. Honestly, we don't.
the American people. Now, we are about to approach the birthday of Martin Luther King. It's actually tomorrow. And on January 20th will be the inauguration of Donald Trump, but it will also
Donald Trump, our prezi.
be the observation of MLK Day. And the fact that we have decided that in this country we are not going to honor civil rights should be something that we all take issue with. Considering the fact, for some that don't know what civil rights are about, because some people only believe that it deals with black folk, let me explain.
That would be the stupidest thing. I'm gonna let it continue.
Civil and political rights are a class of rights that protect individuals' freedom from the infringement by governments, social organizations, and private individuals. They ensure one's entitlement to participate in the civil and political life of society and the state. Defined another way, the right to be free from discrimination, the freedom to worship as we choose.
Honestly, the way she was talking about civil rights, I thought she was about to talk about it passionately without having to look at Cliff Notes.
The right to vote for our elected representatives, the protections of due process, the right to privacy. If any of that sounds familiar, it is because these are rights that are born out of our Constitution, something that we all supposedly have sworn an oath to, and we swear to not only, we don't just swear to it, we are supposed to protect those rights. Interestingly enough, we just had the funeral of one of our beloved presidents. And I caught a flight to Austin on the day of the funeral. And I had the honor of sitting next to someone who was a little familiar with the White House. That person was Lucy Baines Johnson. And when I tell you that she is a wealth of information, I really mean that. And when we had an opportunity to talk about what she experienced as her father was president during a time in which, honestly, our country was on fire. And I would argue that, unfortunately, our country is on fire right now. When I first ran for office, I ran for the State House and said that we were in the midst of a modern-day civil rights movement, and I have not been convinced otherwise just yet. But this is the daughter of the president that signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964. She was also there when he signed the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And to be perfectly honest, without that voting rights, I don't believe that I actually would have a seat in Congress. And so I do believe in preserving the fact that everyone should be entitled to real and true representation, because I do have a Section 2 seat as our Voting Rights Act has been decimated. But one of the stories that she told me was that her father.
On the Voters' Rights Act, I'm not too well versed in that, but I'm wondering if she's talking about local election, presidential election. What voter rights is she talking about? I wonder.
Father asked her about coming over to the Congress for the signing of the bill as it relates to the Voting Rights Act. Now, for her, it was a bit inconvenient as an 18-year-old to have to leave the White House and go over to Congress. And she asked her father, why should we go over to the Congress, Daddy, to sign this particular bill? And she said, we need to go over to the Congress because we need to pay due respect to the.
Didn't she say the daughter was asking her dad, and did she just say she said? That's a man talking to his daughter. Boy.
Those members of Congress that knew that voting for this bill meant that they would not be returning to Congress, but they had the courage to do what was right for this country and make sure that everyone's voices were going to be heard. The one thing that we could do, the very small thing that we could do, is have a little bit of courage and decide that we are going to reinstitute this particular subcommittee, because unfortunately, I don't see the type of courage that the people that served back in the 60s had coming out of some of our colleagues. And so I'm asking you to do the courage.
Back in the 60s, I was born in the 90s. Once again, I can't truly speak on the 60s, but I already know our civil rights weren't looking too good back in the 60s. Still, our communities is in shambles now. Shambles. We got so much division in the black community, it's wild. I know there's division in all the communities in America, but in the black community, we only make up 13% in America. We got division in our community, so. And probably in the House, for the Senate, with the Republicans, Democrats, you already know there's division in there. There's division everywhere, sadly.
Courageous thing today, and just institute a subcommittee that would make sure that we are looking out for those protections of everyone in this country, to make sure that we have real freedom, something that we all supposedly espouse to believe in. And with that, I will yield.
Mr. Chairman.
Gentlelady's time's expired. Any?
Two things to Jasmine Crockett. I wish you'd cut that hair. I don't know if that's weave. It looked like weave. I wish you'd take it out. Just show her natural hair and them raptor claws. Them fingernails. Take them out. Just get your real fingernails. Let's just continue.
Member seek recognition.
Yes.
Mr. Higgins. Oh, Ms. Mace was first. I'm sorry. Ms. Mace.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I don't know what's going on today. I find it extremely rich and offensive. So we're talking about civil rights. I'm the former ranking member on the Civil Rights Subcommittee,
Nancy.
something I believe in civil rights and civil liberties of all Americans. And we were talking about.
You see how she said Americans? Because starting Tuesday, Trump, Tom Homan, Chicago, you gotta go, illegals. I'm sorry. It is what it is. This is what we voted for. You gotta go.
Your infringement of individual people. Also, quote, the right to privacy of individuals. coming from a party that can't define what a woman is.
Coming from a party that can't describe what a woman is. I ain't heard no truer words than that.
And won't give women the right to privacy.
Talk,
You
Nancy.
all want men with penises, chicks with dicks.
Talk, Nancy.
In the bathroom with us. You want women to be forced to undress in front of men in the locker
Talk,
room
Nancy.
and in dressing rooms. And it's so hypocritical for you to sit here and say and be, screaming from the rooftops about right to privacy and civil rights when you don't respect women. And you don't respect women who've been raped. Women who are victims of sexual abuse. And you want me, a victim of rape, a survivor of rape, to go into a locker room and be forced to undress in front of a man? You have to be effing kidding me. So I don't want to hear about you talk about...
You said how Jasmine didn't really get to the realness of the situation, how Nancy is. She was just talking about civil rights and trying to add a bunch of mumbo jumbo in there. But Nancy got straight to the point while she's here. We don't want men in women's bathroom. It's disgusting. If you're a man and you got something swinging between your legs, you go to the man's bathroom. That's it.
About rights, individual rights, civil rights, because you can't find the courage from the 60s to fight for women all around America, fight for women like me, every single woman. And as a rape survivor, I shouldn't have to explain to you why women have rights and why women, when we're in the bathroom, when we're in the locker room, when we're in a dressing room, why I don't feel safe when there is a man nearby. And the fact that we're going here and we're going to say all these things is the ripeness of hypocrisy on the Hill. People need to tell the truth. And if we're going to talk about the rights of individuals, we have to talk about it. Everybody has rights, including women. And at some point, men are infringing on the rights of women. We just had it today. We just had a vote about protecting women and girls in sports. And I believe it wasn't one, it was two people from the Democrat Party who voted to protect women's rights in sports today.
And those Democrats were thinking with their brain. There's no question. We don't want that. It should be a sanctuary for women. Just like us playing with other men is a sanctuary for us. It should be equal across the field. We don't want no transsexual playing against our women, whooping them, breaking their records. That's wild.
Two. So this is, Mr. Chairman, this is a deeply offensive conversation to me today. We want to talk about real freedom. Women have freedom in this country. Women have the freedom to go to a private women's only space and not see a man in it. Women have the right to change and not be feared that somebody with their sexual perversion, someone who's confused about their gender, we have the right to feel safe in these spaces. We have the right to know that we're not going to have trans people filming us in the bathroom. How many of these trannies are taking selfies? These men are taking selfies in women's spaces, in the bathroom. It's gross. It's disgusting.
Disgusting.
So if we're going to talk about civil rights, let's talk about the rights of women in this country and how you are stripping them away every single day. And you're doing...
And this is why we voted for Trump into office. We got to go back to a certain way of living. Because right now it's crazy out here. Even through sex. STDs, HIV on the rise. In Texas, Georgia, but Atlanta specifically. And in Texas, Houston. Like, it's wild out here. It's wild out here. I heard the Black Plague was coming back, or scurvy, out in California. Who's a pirate out there? That's wild.
In your legislation, you're doing it in your messaging, you're doing it on X. You're making women feel unsafe in this country. And you're making the opportunity for women and girls to be raped, to be sexually abused in this country, even greater than they've ever.
Homie back here, he's like, God dang. She's spitting right now. Look at his face. He said, oh my gosh. With the little ginger beard, he's like, oh my gosh, he's spitting.
Ever been. So don't come over here with your attitude and talk to me.
So on that note, yeah, like I said, I'm a Republican now. I also forgot to say last video, I have never voted Democrat. I was only a Democrat by association. I grew up in a black family. We're all taught to be Democrat, support them, Republican bad, they don't care about black people. But as you keep learning and you keep making yourself wiser to everything that's going around, the truth comes out eventually. It's going to come out. You can't be blind. In the black community, we have conservative views. We truly do. And conservative views fall in line with Christian. I'm not the best Christian. No, I don't go to church every day. I don't read the Bible every day. Those are things reading the Bible is something I definitely need to get back into so I can put and instill into my kids that I don't have yet, but the right ways, the conservative ways. I don't want my daughter being out here doing ratchet stuff. I don't want my son out here being a badass little bastard because he's going to have a father. I'm going to be a hell of a father. But listen, Jasmine Crockett, we do not want men in women's bathrooms. Please do not fight for this. Please stop it. AOC, we do not want men in women's bathrooms. Please stop fighting for it. I'm happy they didn't put her up. Actually, I wish they would have put AOC up to try to go for the presidency spot so she can get her ass kicked by JD Vance. That'd be lovely. But this is your boy Big Fish. Excuse me. We don't say the boy. Drake killed that. This is Big Fish. I'm out. Hit the subscribe and like button. And thank you.